The universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. People misunderstand that. They think the law of attraction is being obsessed with what you want. But no, if you want something, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. The universe will reflect to you, and Beckwith calls this the law of resonance. Resonance. So you got to become that which you seek to be. What you do not want to do is affirmations. If you say, I am healthy and fit, there's a little voice in your head that's going to go, no, you're not. You ate that pizza last night, fatso. Right? Because we all have self-doubts. So you want to hijack your subconscious. You want to trick your subconscious by assuming the truth. So you say, why do I have the fit, healthy body of an athlete? Because that makes it very visceral, very real. You're tricking your subconscious by shifting your identity, and you will find that the universe will start to reflect that. If you ask yourself a question, why am I so kind and compassionate to everyone around me? Or why do I only eat healthy foods? Or why am I so brilliant at being an entrepreneur? You're shifting your identity at a fundamental level, almost like self-hypnosis, and the universe will start to reflect that, and your life will start accelerating and changing at a really rapid pace. This is actually the most effective manifesting technique I know. But if you sit down and you hope and you hope and you hope and you try to focus your mind on one thing over and over and over and over and over again, it doesn't mean you're going to get that, because the universe doesn't give you what you want or what you crave. It gives you that which you are. What you're about to hear is not just another personal growth lesson. This is a core level of disruption. Within the next few minutes, you may find yourself questioning everything: your career, your relationships, your goals, even your deepest held beliefs. Why? Because most of what you think is your reality was never chosen by you. The way you define success, happiness, money, relationships, even the limits of what you think you can achieve were programmed into you by society, your upbringing, and the people around you. We were born into what I call the culturescape, an invisible matrix of beliefs, rules, ideas of all the people and cultures around us mashed together. Think about it. Why do we believe that working hard equals success? Why do we think we need a college degree to be successful? Why do we feel guilty for putting ourselves first? These aren't universal truths. They're just rules we've accepted without questioning. I call these rules bullshit rules. Bullshit rules that society keep us trapped in. Most people go through life following a script that was never written by them. They work jobs they hate because they were told it's safe. They sacrifice their happiness to meet society's expectations. They limit themselves because they've been told that's just how life is. They even drop the bar in relationships, tolerating people who disrespect them, who don't truly love them, who may not give them the intimacy, the connection, the type of respect that they need. Yet, they stay in those relationships. And here's the scary part. Most people never even realize they're stuck. And even when people recognize these limitations, they try to break free using the wrong tools. They hustle harder, thinking effort alone will change things. They repeat affirmations or prayers, but never rewire the beliefs beneath them. They chase one-size-fits-all success formulas that don't work for them. The truth is, escaping the culturescape isn't just about working harder. It's about upgrading your level of consciousness so you can finally break free from the limitations that you never actually chose. And this is where most personal growth gets it wrong. This masterclass is designed to disrupt the way you see the world and to give you the tools to reshape it to whatever your heart desires. For some of you, this will be exciting, a revelation. For others, it may feel uncomfortable, even unsettling. But one thing is certain, you will not leave this session the same person who started it. So if you're ready to break free from the invisible scripts that have been running your life on autopilot, let's begin. My name's Vishen Lakhiani. Over the last 2.5 decades, I've had the privilege of sitting with, interviewing, and learning from over 1,000 of the greatest minds in personal growth, spirituality, health, business, neuroscience, and human optimization. I've shared the stage with the Dalai Lama, trained Hollywood celebrities, pro athletes, and billionaires, and was even invited recently by CNN to give advice to the world on their global 2025 New Year broadcast. My book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, became at one point the #1 book in the world, even outselling the combined works of J.K. Rowling and Tolkien.
His first book, Code of the Extraordinary Mind, was the #1 book in the world.
I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm telling you this to show you the depth of research that has gone into what I'm about to share and to show you what's possible when you learn to take control of your models of reality and your systems for living. Because the truth is, the way you see the world determines the world you live in. And today, I'm going to show you how to bend reality in your favor using a structured, science-backed framework. By the time we're done, you'll see exactly how to do it too. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to completely rewire your mind for the life you actually want. Even if you feel like you've tried everything, you're going to discover the single biggest lie society has conditioned you to believe and how to break free, the 4 levels of consciousness and how to upgrade your thinking instantly, how to enter altered states of awareness to unlock deep intuition, creativity, and flow, and how the world's most successful people use their brain differently, and how to install their mindset in yourself.
I am mind blown at the results I got, I have to say.
The way I am looking at life has changed, and I can feel a sense of joy in my life now.
It gives me a lot of power.
I have been able to become more friendly with the mind.
After every class, something extraordinary would happen in my life.
I always have money now. Opportunities are just coming from out of nowhere, it seems.
I've grown as an individual.
I have been writing a book for the last 6 years, and I finally finished writing it.
I now have the courage to stand on my own 2 feet.
Things are already happening in my life.
I wasn't always the go-to personal growth guy. In fact, for most of my early life, I felt lost, stuck, trapped in a reality that wasn't my own. I grew up in Malaysia, in traditional culture, that had strict rules about what success looked like. Go to school, get good grades, become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, work hard, retire. That was the only path. And like so many people, I began to follow it. But I always felt like a misfit. I was bullied at school. I had severe acne that eroded my self-confidence. I didn't even really go on a date until I was 24. But I was a bit of a nerd, so I made it to one of the top engineering universities in the US and got a degree in computer engineering. Even landed a job at Microsoft. But 2 years later, I was broke, struggling, and fired twice from my job. The dot-com bubble had burst. Silicon Valley was in chaos. I'd lost the $30,000 I'd borrowed from my father to start my little software idea. I'd followed all of the rules of success, yet I was sleeping on a friend's couch, unable to even afford rent. At 24, I found myself working a job I hated, making cold calls for a Silicon Valley startup, barely making ends meet. Every day I dreaded waking up. I felt trapped in a life that felt nothing like the one I really wanted to live. At this time, I just started to go and study meditation. It wasn't glamorous. I was living in a tiny apartment above a bar in Times Square. Not today's Disney Times Square. I'm talking strippers and crack Times Square, before Disney took over. I just quit my job. I was broke. I could barely afford pants. And this is where Mind Valley began. Then one day, everything changed. I was in London, and a mentor of mine, Bob Proctor, one of the legends from the movie The Secret, invited me to lunch. We sat down, and Bob said, "So what brings you here?" And I told him proudly that I'd flown all the way from Malaysia to teach a weekend meditation class to, on that day, 40 students, my biggest class yet. And Bob asked, "How much are you earning from this class?" And I said, after everything, maybe around 5 grand. And I thought that was pretty good. Bob looked at me, dead serious, and said, "Are you kidding me?" Then he stared at me with that Bob Proctor stare, the wrinkly face and that stare where he's looking at you and you just feel like you've disappointed God. Bob said this, I'll never forget it. He said, "Wait, let me get this straight. You left your wife and your 1-year-old child to fly all the way from Kuala Lumpur to London, 22 hours, just to teach to 40 people?" Bob shook his head and he said, "Vishen, you gotta think bigger, son." Now that was profound advice. But I can tell you at that moment, wasn't advice to me. I was pissed off. I frickin' hated this man, Bob Proctor, with his fancy suits and his sweet-smelling cologne, whatever he sprays on himself. He smelled so good. And I said, in my mind, I was saying, "Screw you, Bob Proctor. How dare you tell me that what I love doing isn't good enough?" But you know what? I quit teaching meditation after 5 years. Because Bob made me realize that I was playing too small. I'd been doing the same thing over and over and over again, been playing small, and I didn't even realize it. That day I made a decision. I went to my Facebook profile and changed my bio to a quote from Bob Proctor. The quote said this, and if you look at my Facebook profile, it's now 17 years since then, and that same quote still stays up. The quote is this: "The question is not, are you worthy enough to reach your goals? The question is, are your goals worthy enough of you? That was the last time I ever taught a class in that way. Instead, I started to dream bigger. I shifted my little business, Mind Valley, from a small coaching practice to a global movement. I decided we were going to touch billions of lives. I started a festival company, and soon I was on stage with the world's greatest teachers in exotic locations, 5-star hotels. I went on to build a technology platform, Mind Valley's Quest, which is now, as of today, featured in every single Apple store in the world. In just a few years, I went from just having a tiny apartment in Times Square to owning apartments all around the world and being able to live anywhere I want. For my team, I built what Inc. magazine called one of the top 10 coolest workplaces in the world. All because one man kicked my ass and forced me to dream bigger. So if you're watching this, and if you feel you've been playing small, stuck in the same cycle year after year, I want you to ask yourself, are my goals worthy enough of me? But I also noticed something. Most of the personal growth world was an absolute mess. Conflicting advice, pseudoscience mixed with truth, a maze of techniques and philosophies with no clear path. So I decided to work on a project to fix that. Being a computer engineer, I had a very interesting brain. I started to connect all of the dots between different modalities and then work on a platform to unify all of this and to figure out a way where neuroscience, ancient wisdom, psychology, human transformation, biohacking all had a place sitting at the table together. For years, I kept searching, trying to figure out why some people seem to create success effortlessly, while others, no matter how hard they work, stay stuck. I started to realize that the biggest factor wasn't intelligence, background, or even effort. It was something deeper, something hidden that determines the very way we see and interact with the world. What if I told you that your life, your success, your happiness, even the limits of what you think is possible, is not set in stone? What if reality itself is something you can poke, you can bend? For centuries, people have talked about the power of thoughts, the law of attraction, the idea that your mind shapes your reality. Some call it manifesting, others call it luck. But what if there was an actual framework behind this idea? A way to systematically upgrade the way you think, act, and create results? Because the truth is, success, material, emotional, spiritual, or otherwise, isn't just about working longer hours, grinding, or being born with an advantage. It's about an internal representation in your mind, the deep-seated beliefs, the subconscious mental models, the invisible paradigms that shape how you see the world. And when you learn how to shift these, you don't just think differently, you begin sending out creative signals to the universe itself. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make this shift with a structured framework that everyone can apply, because there's a reason why some people seem to attract success effortlessly while others struggle for years, why some people seem to meet the right people at the right time while others feel stuck in toxic relationships, why some manifest breakthroughs, wealth, and impact while others live in constant frustration. And I assure you, this isn't wishful thinking or feel-good affirmations. This is about understanding how your mind actually constructs reality and learning how to bend it at your will. Bend reality. Let's look at that phrase. Do you know, in the book Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, the word bend reality is used 3 times to describe Jobs and his unique ability to create such a successful company, the world's first $1 trillion company. Jobs went on to say that as soon as you realize that the world that we live in was created by people no smarter than you, you can poke it. You can change things. He was literally talking about bending reality. You've probably heard of concepts like the law of attraction, manifesting, or thoughts create reality. But here's the issue. Most people don't have a system for making this work. They repeat affirmations, they visualize, but they never go truly deep. This masterclass is different. Today I'll be giving you a structured framework to completely reconstruct your reality from the inside out. One that tens of thousands of people, including some of the world's top performers, have used to escape what I call the culture-scape and start bending reality in their favor. It's not about doing more, it's about becoming more. Just like a video game, reality has levels, and depending on what level you operate from, you experience life very differently. Most people are stuck in level 1 or 2, where life feels like a constant struggle, where success is hard-won, where you feel like life is happening to you rather than for you. But the world's most extraordinary people, the visionaries, the innovators, the leaders, They operate from level 3 and 4, where life becomes easier because they've shifted their mental models completely. So how do you ascend these levels? Allow me to give you the tools. By now, you've started to understand how the culturescape, the invisible web of societal rules and beliefs, shapes reality. We don't grow up in an independent way. We grow up influenced by the culture of the society around us. So the question is, how do you escape that culturescape? The truth is, not everyone is at the same level of awareness, and different levels of awareness, therefore, require different tools. Some people are still completely trapped in the illusion of the external world. Others are beginning to wake up, but they are still playing by outdated rules. And then there are those who have learned to bend reality in their favor, operating at a whole different frequency. This is why I want to introduce you to the 4 levels of consciousness, because when you understand where you are, you know what it takes to level up. All of you watching this right now are in one of these 4 levels, but each level has a completely different protocol to get to the next. You can consciously accelerate your transformation and start living in a way that feels effortless. People at level 1 operate on a paradigm where life happens to them. They do not set goals. They have no ambition. They don't seek to level up. They look at personal growth and think, oh, this is for losers. This is where most of the world is stuck. You feel like life is happening to you, not because of you. You believe your circumstances are out of your control. You blame your past, your upbringing, your society, your bad luck. You struggle with self-doubt, lack of confidence, fear of change. But if you're watching this right now, you're likely already moving beyond this stage. If you're level 1, you probably wouldn't have gotten this far in this video. Just the fact that you're here means you're curious, open, and searching for more. Still, it's important to understand how this level works, because chances are you have friends, family, or colleagues who are still trapped at this ground level 1. So how do you race beyond this stage? Segment intending, the warm-up for reality bending. It comes from an incredible spiritual teacher called Esther Hicks, and it looks like this. You play a what-if game. Before you get out of bed, lie in bed, relax, and play a little game. Rehearse your day that's about to follow, and just play the what-if game. What if today breakfast just tasted so good? What if today there was no traffic? What if today great songs played on the radio? What if today when I showed up at work, my colleagues were super positive and kind? What if today I just had incredible focus? What if today my boss complimented me? What if today I got back from work a little early and got a chance to play with the kids? What if today I just watched the most amazing episode of my favorite show on TV? What if today I fell asleep at the right time and slept so well? This may sound simple, but it's powerful. It warms up your mind's creative faculty, like stretching before a workout. And it's actually one of the foundational practices in my whole approach. This what-if game, as you start practicing it more, no matter how skeptical you are, even if you do not believe in manifesting, chances are you will start to notice things in your life getting better. Now, what tends to happen is really interesting. As people who are pessimists, people who don't believe in these ideas, play the what-if game, they starting to understand that you can shift reality ever so slightly, and it makes them emerge to level 2. At level 2, the experience of life is a lot better, but the rules are different. Level 2 is called the hustler stage. At this stage, you've realized you have power. You know that you can set goals and make them happen. But you probably believe success comes from effort, discipline, and pushing hard. You hustle, you grind, and sacrifice to get results. And this works for a while. The problem is, you're constantly chasing, striving, but often never arriving. Success starts to feel like a never-ending treadmill. Here's why. At this level, you're still using your logical mind to create success. You've stepped up from level 1. You no longer tolerate the hamster wheel. You've set goals for yourself. Maybe it's to run a marathon. Maybe it's to start a business or grow your business to a certain revenue potential or buy that dream house or marry that dream person. But you see, the logical mind is limited. It calculates, controls, and strategizes, but it doesn't allow for flow, synchronicity, or effortless success. Don't get me wrong, level 2 is a good place to be at. It's better than level 1, which is the vast majority of the population. At level 2, you're starting to understand that you can choose the reality you want, but you think it only comes from physical effort. You've forgotten or are unaware that you have a spiritual core, or in the words of C.S. Lewis, that you do not have a soul. You are a soul. What you have is a body. So the tool for level 2, creative visualization. Science has confirmed today what the greatest minds of all this know. Your brain cannot distinguish between an imagined experience and a real one. Elite athletes visualize winning before they step into the field. Silicon Valley billionaires see their success before it happens. And this isn't wishful thinking, it's neuroscience. Try this. Close your eyes and picture any aspect of a dream reality. Don't just see it, feel it. What emotions rise up? Confidence, excitement, freedom. Imagine yourself already living that reality. The home, the wealth, the money. Hold on to that feeling for at least 30 seconds. Your brain rewires itself based on repetition. What I gave you is a simplistic exercise. In my program, you learn to go deeper and to refine that exercise based on cutting-edge research from pioneers that I've studied with. The secret is this. The more you visualize, the more your actions, decisions, and reality start shifting. This is how you start bending reality. Now, as cool as level 2 sounds, there is level 3, the awakening. I want to show you an interesting way to understand this. In level 1, life happens to you. Problems, shitty situations, failures, being perpetually on that hamster wheel, feeling that you can't afford what you really want. In level 2, life happens by you. You are setting goals, you're deciding and choosing the reality you want to create, but you are choosing to move through it purely from brute force. Now, level 3 is different. Level 3, life happens through you. You're tapped in. There's something different. Your goals aren't coming from the programmings of your education or your mom or dad or your society. Your goals seem to be coming from something deeper, from a soul, a heart, a spirit. Life is coming through you. Paulo Coelho, in his book The Alchemist, had a great idea that symbolizes this. He said, when you want something, that desire originated in the soul of the universe itself, and therefore, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. What he was talking about was operating from this level. Your goals are not coming from outside forces. They're coming from the soul of the universe itself, which resides inside you. At this level, you trust life. You experience synchronicities and coincidences. You feel guided by an inner intelligence. Here's the secret. The most successful people don't force their way to success. They follow their intuition, and the right opportunities come to them. The solution is tuning into intuition and altered states. Have you ever had a gut feeling about something and later found out you were right? Have you ever thought of someone right before they called? Have you felt an inner knowing that you couldn't explain? Well, that's intuition. And studies on intuition show just how powerful it is. A study by Professor Michalaski of the Newark College of Engineering. He studied CEOs because he wanted to see CEOs have so much responsibility. They have to grow companies, they manage people. Does intuition play a factor? And sure enough, he found that CEOs who scored high on intuition test had the highest correlation with profitability. But there were also CEOs who scored against probability on intuition test. It's like they were second guessing themselves. They had the lowest correlation with profitability. So, whether we know it or not, we are making decisions at an intuitive level all the time. Most people just tend to ignore this inner voice. In my program, I teach a framework that makes intuition second nature. Because when you start living from this place, life starts unfolding effortlessly. You start to understand the meaning of the great Rumi poem, which goes like this. When I chase after what I want, my life is a furnace of stress and anxiety. But when I sit in my own place of patience, what I want flows to me without any pain. From this, I understand that what I want is seeking me and wants me too. There's a great secret in this for anyone who would pay attention. Rumi is literally talking about the shift from level 1 to level 3. But you can go one level higher, and that's level 4. At level 4, life is not just happening through you. life is happening as you. And I'm not gonna lie, very few people have reached this level. I'm not at this level. I'm still at level 3. Level 4 takes decades of mastery. But I've met individuals who have gotten there, and I've tried to create and break down their process so that I and you can slowly get there too. At level 4, the right people, opportunities, and events fall into place. Goals that used to take years happen in months. Life becomes an effortless dance between intention and flow, and this is where, really, my complete training aims to get you. Even if you're not yet at this level, you can apply the core technique. I call it merging. This is true creation, and inside this program, I guide you through the full framework. It's called Be Extraordinary, and it's the highest rated program on Mindvalley for a reason. In fact, recently at the Mindvalley Awards at the iconic Dubai Dome,
the award for the highest rated program of 2024, the leader of this wonderful organization, Vishen, please give him a round of applause.
Be Extraordinary was recognized as the top-rated program out of 100 programs on Mindvalley, and I'm really proud of that. The reason? It's like the best of human optimization protocols rolled into a 30-day rewiring to help you break free from the hidden rules controlling your life, unlocking peak performance, effortless success, and true happiness. Be Extraordinary is a combination of science, psychology, and spirituality. It's an approach to reshaping your mind, your beliefs, and ultimately, your entire reality. You might be wondering, but Vishen, does this really work for someone like me? Well, absolutely. The Be Extraordinary framework works even if you think you've tried everything, books, seminars, even therapy, but nothing has created lasting change. You're skeptical about things like bending reality or manifesting, or you've struggled with personal growth and feel overwhelmed by conflicting advice. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a proven step-by-step system based on neuroscience, psychology, and over 1,000 interviews I've done in 2 decades with some of the greatest minds in the world. I want to be upfront about one thing, and that is what the program is not. It is not a motivational program. This is not about grinding harder or hustling your way to success, because working longer hours is a stupid way to try to get to an extraordinary life. And this isn't some rah-rah motivational session, because I don't believe in motivation. That's a temporary thing, and too often people fall back to their old patterns. Upgrading your beliefs isn't about trying harder. It's about removing the invisible limitations you've been programmed to accept. And when you install these success patterns, you naturally start experiencing effortless productivity, laser focus, deeper intuition and decision making. Wealth, opportunities, synchronicity start flowing into your life. You get a profound sense of purpose, joy, and meaning in everything you do. Now, I'll be honest with you. The program isn't for everyone. If you're looking for quick fix, or basic manifesting tools with zero effort, hustle and grind strategies, a course where you just listen but never apply, then this isn't going to work for you. This is for people who are serious about lasting transformation, people who want to shift their entire way of operating in the world. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. But what I've done is make Be Extraordinary as easy and structured as possible to integrate into your daily life. It's built as a guided journey. No guesswork, just follow the steps. It just takes 20 minutes a day, so you don't have to sacrifice your entire schedule. You'll get daily micro shifts that compound into massive permanent change by directly shifting your beliefs and your habits. This is why thousands of students have been able to integrate these teachings, and why this works even if you've struggled with personal growth before. On our website, you'll see over 700 case studies submitted by students who have taken this program and seen their life shift massively. Now, if you're the kind of person who feels like you're meant for more but aren't sure how to get there, want a real proven system instead of feel-good fluff, and are ready to step into your higher self and start bending reality, then Be Extraordinary is for you. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this step by step. As you know, I train a lot of the world's top performers, and very often articles emerge in the New York Times or Billboard magazine or other publications about how a certain rock star or athlete are using my frameworks and tools, and my name is mentioned there. Like Bianca Andreescu, who started using visualization techniques at just 16 years old and went on at the age of 19 to beat Serena Williams and win the US Open. She was one of my students.
I am so intrigued with how the mind works and how it basically has control of our whole life. And I think if people can tap into that, then you'll change your life.
And attended a seminar back when I used to teach it, on the exact methods taught in this program. She even